Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Monkey Wrench. I'm Kelly, the monkey with the wrench. Today we're going to be doing some time traveling. I've been going through some of my older first videos I ever made, and I found one that only got 30 views from like 3+ years ago. So I pulled it off, check it out. There's not a whole lot of stuff on there. I was terrible back then. I don't think I'm much better now, but I'm going to edit it down and see if I can make something out of it. There was no intro worth a damn. So thanks for coming by. Check out my old video. Let me know if I've gotten any better. Stay tuned to the end. I appreciate it. Please subscribe. Pressure washer in the center. This was the original lawnmower that we spoke of. And he brought me this Craftsman Troy built lawnmower as well. He said the motor runs, but the self-propelled is locked up or something's wrong with it. So he said I could have that machine and this little Hyper Tough, which, you know, fixed is worth maybe 50 bucks. He just wants the pressure washer fixed if possible. You can see it's got the wand and the gun and everything. So we're going to start off by seeing if this thing will pop. Take off the air cleaner and the little filter. That's in good shape. I can clean that, put it back in. Make sure we're in the on position. There's an off-on switch on the side. Just a little bit of fuel that I keep in a bottle. Stick it in there, give it a quick squirt, and let's just see if she'll pop off, or bark as I call it. There you go. If you've watched my videos before, you know, by doing that, before you do anything else, you can tell everything there is to know about a machine. It always starts on the 3rd or 4th pull. Don't worry about that. But I didn't have to pull the spark plug and check for compression. I didn't have to pull the spark plug and look at the spark plug and see if it worked. I didn't have to hook up a spark plug checker to see if we had spark. I didn't have to do any of that stuff. I didn't have to check and see if the switch was working. You bypass all of that stuff. You can use starting fluid. I just use gas in a little squeeze bottle. Go in through the carburetor, squirt it right into the throat of the engine, give it a couple of pulls. If it barks, I know everything to do with this motor is great. There's nothing wrong with it. I know we have a fuel issue. So, you've seen this enough times on my videos. I'm going to go ahead and pull the carburetor, clean it, put it back together, and we're going to see if we can get this thing to run on its own. Now, you just got to make sure that all these little holes right here are cleaned out, and I'm going to put it back together. I can smell the old gas, so it's probably been in there for a long time, and it does not smell nice. It smells like paint thinner. Remember, you can only fit that in one way. If you put it in wrong, it won't go down. Put it back in. Clip it. Make sure that's in the middle. This is your shut off. So I usually just blow in and make sure that when I push that up, it shuts it off. And it does. So I've already drained the fuel out while I was in here doing this. I drained the fuel. So we should be able to put this back together, put some new gas in it, and it should start up. Now I'm going to kill this film video because I gotta hook up a garden hose. Got it all back together, and one of the wires on the switch was real loose, so that took me a few minutes to get that back on. These things are fun. There's always something silly that you don't think of. Now, before I hook up the garden hose and get everything wet, I am going to test it. You can run these for a minute or two without burning up the pump, without water. Now, before you go and do that on a machine you don't know, or one of your own, be aware your pump might be 95% bad, and if you run it for a minute or two without water, it might be enough to push it over the edge and ruin your pump. But if that happens within a minute or two of running, your pump was bad already to start with. So do what you want to do. I always run them for a minute or two on my own, just to make sure it's going to run before I go to all the trouble to hook up a garden hose. So let's see if she'll start. She don't want to start. It's on. Oh, it's got a primer, dumbass. Now let's see if it'll start, having been primed. Okay. Sometimes the primer is bad. Sometimes you have to clean the carburetor more than once. So let's see if I can prime it myself and get it to stay running. Nope. So the carburetor still needs to be cleaned more. I'll be back. Sometimes it happens where you have to clean the carburetor 2 or 3 times. So I've taken it off, cleaned it. I also found that the little washer, the little O-ring, had been cut in half. So I replaced that. Checked that everything else was good. Let's just see, fingers crossed, if it'll start. Let's prime it. Give it a couple pulls. Hey! All right. Okay, now it's not going to hurt anything. I ran it for what, 10, 12 seconds. It's not going to hurt anything. It didn't seem to be coming quite up to idle, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the garden hose. We're going to move over there, start it back up again, see what it does. I've already hooked this up to water and tested it out before I decided to fire up the camera, because I have limited amount of memory left on this. Someone has stripped off the pump. There's a fitting that comes out with a female end that screws onto your garden hose. They've stripped that off. So I had to pull this. This is a double female. The red that you see, that's off my washing machine because it has a female on both ends. So I hooked the water up over there, hooked it to the garden hose. The water's on. Pump is shot, and the guy that sold it to you knew it before he sold it to you. The reason I know he knew it is because he stripped off, he took off, he removed the end that sticks off of the pump on this side. He had a wire undone behind the carburetor, and when I went to look at this one real quick, which I'll be making another video on, this lawnmower over here, he already stripped it apart. He's missing parts. There's screws missing. The carburetor is broken. Somebody was in there trying to fix it, didn't know what they were doing. My guess is he attempted it on this as well, didn't know what he could do about it, or knew he had to replace the pump and decided $100 for a new pump was too much, because that's what they run, about $90 for a pump. The motor seems to be good. The reason it's not really coming up to speed is because the pump is seized in there and it's holding onto the shaft and squeezing it and stopping it from catching its full RPMs. So I'm going to send this video to you. I'm going to put it out and send you the link, and I'll see what you want to do. Well, as you can see, they're not all winners. In that case, the pump was no good. I ended up contacting the man. He watched the video. He understood what he had gotten himself into. He decided he did not want to put a new pump on that. I believe I pulled that motor off and put it onto another machine. And those lawnmowers, I think I sold one and donated another to a church. So that's what it looked like when I first started my channel. That was only the 4th video that I posted ever. And hopefully the quality's gotten a little bit better these days. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hit the like button. It's somewhere between my chin and my balls. And come back next Wednesday and Saturday for a new video. See you soon.